I have a client who is a massage therapist. I consult with her once or twice a month. Her main concern is to convert one-time clients to long-term clients. She has a lot of interesting advertising methods that work very well. She doesn't have any problems getting clients, so she would like to become more effective turning them into long-term clients. Even once per month would be good. She has a background in psychology and marketing. When she first started college, she wanted to get a degree in psychology, not really knowing what she wanted to do. She only knew that she wanted to help people in some way, not in a general way like for the good of humanity. She wanted to help people and see the people she helped. She wanted them to get better because of her, and she wanted to watch that happen. She had a very interesting professor her first year. He was old, semi-retired. He'd written a lot of books and had consulted both with government and a lot of private industry. His stories from both were interesting, enlightening, and kind of frightening. He talked about his one very long-term project he worked on with an unnamed government agency. The project was to create a very covert, very long-term post-hypnotic implanting technology, the kind that, from the standpoint of the subject, would be completely seamless and conversational, but from the standpoint of the hypnotist, would be very much like a very subtle, very gradual, and eventually a very complete form of mind control. Its foundational principles were based on the idea of not being able to discern implanted thoughts from your own thoughts. The theory is that once a thought exists inside of our mind, no matter how it got there, we will perceive it as our own. Mostly this happens through a combination of social proof, authority, and repetition. We'll hear an authority describe a complex idea a few times. Then we'll hear that idea repeated by our social reference group, then a few more times by the authority figure. So long as the idea has been presented slowly enough, we will take the idea as our own without any type of critical thought. This is how governments and other agencies have managed to affect mind control over entire populations. On a much deeper level, this resonates with the age-old debate between free will and determinism. There are plenty of unassailable arguments for both of these. For example, plenty of religious ideas, philosophy, and the basis of Western law is based on the foundational principle of free will. On the other hand, according to the latest neurological research, our conscious mind is merely an after-the-fact storytelling device. The sequence of events is first there is an external event, then our subconscious system interprets and responds to this event through our actions and behavior. Only after our response does our conscious mind get involved. Through hindsight bias and several other biases working in tandem, we quickly create a belief that posits our conscious decision as being before our response. There's also the idea that we are made up of atoms and molecules and other systems that must obey the laws of science. Chemical reactions aren't optional. Neurological, biological, and electrical reactions aren't optional. Some ideas in quantum physics have that every time an event happens, there is a collapse of a probability distribution wave. The multiverse theory suggests that every single time any two particles interact in a specific way, every single possible permutation of its previous probability distribution function must take place in a different universe. This means that every single time two particles interact, there are several different universes created. This means that even our thoughts create uncountable amounts of universes on a nearly continual basis. And since a hallucination requires our thought, even as our after-the-fact storyteller creates post-event hallucinations, those post-event hallucinations are themselves creating multiple universes. Perhaps the deterministic universe is based on our subconscious stimulus responses, while the free will universe is a manifestation of our hallucinations which take place after the events actually happen. On TV and in stage shows, a post-hypnotic suggestion is quick. Whenever you hear the word 3, you'll suddenly imagine eating a banana. Or whenever you see the color red, you'll start to hop up and down like a kangaroo. But he talked about much deeper and much longer lasting post-hypnotic suggestions that would add up over a long period of time. It would involve having an understanding of the everyday items a subject would see on a regular basis. Things like ATM machines or post offices or grocery stores or kids walking to and from school. Every time they would see these things, they would trigger a deep memory or implanted idea idea, and over time these implanted ideas would add up to longer-term behaviors. The original goal was to come up with a specific set of stories that didn't seem to make much sense, but embedded within these stories are the deeper ideas that add up to absolute and complete manipulation of your thinking and decision-making process. After her first year, she decided to change her major to marketing, and by the time she finished, she realized that in order to actually help people in a one-on-one setting, she would have to get into some kind of hands-on therapy. That's why she got her license in massage therapy. So when she works on her clients, she can heal them on several different levels at once: physical, mental, and emotional. And as she learns to tell her clients these hypnotic stories while she's got them in a very relaxed and open mental state, she can embed long-lasting suggestions that will help them in the long run, much better than she would have as a psychologist or a marketing executive.